Hey everybody, it's Tuesday and it's 2 o'clock, so that means it's time for Top 5 Tuesday. I'm your host from Crate Insider, I'm Kate Dillon, and today I want to take a look. I've got some good giveaways, I have 5 products that would be fun to look at, and I have a couple special things for us to look at here too. So let's kick this off with what we're going to give away today. And one of these is, this is from my friend Gary Spinato over at Rent a Race Car. And he sent me a shirt to give away right here. Rent a Race Car. Oh, I guess I don't see myself. Hey, and I see Mikey's here. Oh, there we go. I'm gonna just kind of see so I can see myself. There we go. So my friend Gary at Rent a Race Car, I think it's really cool, his program. So, you know, people that are just wanting to get started with racing, they have cars that are already done and they're asphalt cars. And he has this program where people can just rent the race car to be able to run and be competitive. And that's pretty exciting. So we'll drop in a link there for Gary's site, but that's Gary Spinato at Rent a Race Car. And if you'd like to win a t-shirt, then all you have to do is just drop in a comment. Say hi. You can drop in an emoji if you have any questions or something. Feel free to drop those in. So I love to do giveaways every week. And if you happen to know what my sign said last week, drop that in as a comment. And I have a second giveaway item for you this week. And that is a hat from our friends at Z-Max. And I'm just getting into their products and I am loving them, I will tell you. And one of my favorites is right here is this brake and parts cleaner. It's something unique. I sell a few cleaners, but this one is incredibly powerful. It smells good and it works really, really well. So this brake and parts cleaner, and in fact, I think this one might, this one's gonna join my stash of products up on my shelf up here. But I have more at the shop. I have more, so feel free to order that. And I don't even know how much that is. I should probably know, but it's not very expensive, which is a shocker. And somebody's trying to call me. Unfortunately, not everybody's on Top 5 Tuesday right now, so I'm gonna silence my phone. That happens. All right, so let's go ahead and jump in. I'm gonna say hi to some folks, and then I'll jump into our top 5 products this week. Oh, actually, before I do that, I have a featured product I wanted to bring to you guys, and that is from a Receiver. So in case you didn't know, I did become a Receiver dealer. I think they do a wonderful job with any of these driver hearing pieces here. This one happens to be the Receiver Element. And with the Element, what's so cool about it, I know racers have complained for a long time that, you know, they wanted an option that they didn't have to worry about batteries. So with the Element, it is an item that can be charged with a USB. So it comes with a USB cord. It comes with this little carrying case right here, which is so handy. It has a holster, and of course you can clip that onto your racing suit, and then the Element itself. And this way you can hook that up to your earpiece. Now we sell even a starting model where it's the Receiver Element, and then the rookie package is with just an entry-level earpiece, but you can use it with a multitude of different earpieces. You can even do custom molded earpieces. I've got some more of those coming in here sometime soon. Got those on order. They've been not as easy to get for a while here, so I'm really excited about that. But Receiver, if you're looking for the driver hearing driver thing here, then I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted by my phone. Maybe I should take it. Should I take it on a live call and see what's gonna happen? And be like, hey, you're live on Top 5 Tuesday. I wouldn't do that to somebody, not if they didn't know that they're not thinking it's a call-in show. So that might be a little bit cruel. I don't know. Drop in a comment. Let me know what you think. But I'm going to say hi to some folks. I see Mikey's here, and Mike, and Tony, and Mark, and Terry, and Jerry, and Steve. Oh, yeah, Steve, he says it's been a while, but hi. Yeah, you're definitely been a regular. And Scott's on, Scott from California, he is, you're just joining us on all of our lives. I mean, thank you so much of this. Let's see, he says he's got a question here. Saw your Facebook demonstration of the new race car shop aftermarket bath accessory. Is it a new product line for Crate Insider? I probably should have screened these questions before I put them on the air. I might even have to do a video. And what he's talking about, Steve Hendren, I just bought a bidet, you know, because now with the great toilet paper shortage of 2020, I did buy one of those add-on bidet things for your toilet that's like a shower for your butt. Who knew that that was gonna ever be up Top 5 Tuesday? And I was showing Steve how it worked, and he's videoing it the whole time, and I just couldn't stop laughing. I'm unlikely to add that as a product to Crate Insider, but I don't know. You know, if it's anything like when I was growing up, it reminds me of a story that when I was growing up, at one time my dad decided that we were going to try to save energy in the house. And so we would, it's like he turned everything off in the house, like turned off all the appliances. And then he'd turn on an appliance like one at a time and then go outside and see what the meter was doing, you know, like the electrical meter and how fast it was spinning and how much energy it was using. So at some point when he was doing that experiment, he decided that we didn't really need to be using the dishwasher because the dishwasher took way too much energy, and you know, we're kids, and so we are perfectly capable of washing dishes by hand. We didn't need to use the dishwasher. And yet at some point when you opened up the dishwasher, there was a set of heads in there. Yes, cylinder heads, because my dad put them through the dishwasher after running, I don't know why, but yeah, so that was my little story of reappropriating household items for racing. So who knows, maybe the bidet could be a new parts washer if you need water. I don't even know. Oh, fun stuff, fun stuff. I see Lucas is here, and David, and Tony, and Mark, and Ryan, and Ken, and Zian Racewares, thank you for joining us, and Mike, and let's see, Bobby's here. My goodness, lots of people here today. We have Jennifer, and John, and Scott, and wow, there we go. And let's see, we've got some comments on there. So, David asks, do you have an adapter to hook it up to the radio harness? David, I'm just not as adept at some of those other pieces of equipment, so I don't know. That's a really good question. Oh, Terry says, take the call, it might be the president. I don't know, that would be super cool, but I don't think he's in Alabama. I think he's in, actually I know, he's in Wisconsin today. My president, yes, I love my president, and he's in Wisconsin today, is one of the stops. And if you don't like my president, then, you know, tough for you. Let's see, David says, sell it. Racers could use it to freshen up before interviews. That is so good about the bidet. Alrighty, well, let's jump into some products here and take a look, go back to racing world here for a moment. And I've got a great top 5 for you guys this week. So in the top, number 5 spot is a D180. D180, now this is a product, you know, it's a degreaser, and it's a cleaner. We use it for lots of things. In fact, you know, a lot of you guys know I don't have a race car. So I can give you stories about how racers use this, but I'm not really speaking from personal experience. But what I can speak to from personal experience is I got a grill this summer, and I didn't really watch over any of that. That was like Steve's deal. And then I took a look at it and I was like, oh my God, this has never been cleaned. So it was horrible. And we used the D180 and it cleaned it right up. So very impressed with the D180 for, you know, cutting through, because grease is grease. It doesn't really matter where it comes from. Grease is grease. And this did a fantastic job of cleaning up even the grill. I mean, you know, race car parts are good for lots of things other than just race cars. So the D180, it's from our friends at Daytona 1, and that runs $7.97 for a can. Next up in the number 4 spot, this is right here. Got pieces of it. So this is how a race fan comes. When you order a race fan, you're gonna get a hub and you're gonna get blades. And in this case, we're talking about a 4-blade fan. And when I take this out, so this center hub is, I believe it's 6061 T6 aluminum, but it's all CNC machined, and it's, you know, really heavy duty, but it's still lightweight because it's aluminum. And then you just put your blades in here, and then we've got hardware. Each blade comes, you've got hardware. This is actually aircraft quality hardware, which is pretty remarkable. And then you just put your blades in place and then put the hardware in. And this week, this happens to be a 17-inch fan. So a 4-blade 17-inch fan. It runs $265. And these blades are composite material. One of the ingredients is Kevlar, and there's you know, some heavy-duty plastics in here. And it works really well. very lightweight. And what's a really good smart thing about it, we actually have a video on the website, and I had a customer who came up to me one day, Benji Hicks, and he came up to me and he had these blades and they were just like shredded on the end. And he's like, Kate, I got something to show you. And I see these and I'm like, oh my God, he's gonna complain. And I don't like it when people are sad. I don't like it when they complain. I don't like it when things go wrong. And he's like, I'm like, gosh, I'm sorry. And he's like, no. He goes, you don't understand. This just saved my engine. Because what happened was the rack, his steering rack, came loose and it got into the fan. The fan took the brunt of the damage. And that meant that he didn't lose a water pump and his pulleys and like the whole carnage that can happen from that. It was really just the radiator and the fan, and it was contained because the fan ended up being a breaking point to soften that blow, and really saved him. And so he was able to replace just a couple of parts and be able to continue to compete, and that happened last year. So pretty cool. So we did a little video talking about that. But anyway, I was really impressed, and very, very smart way to go, because then these blades are replaceable. You can change them out, and you know, if you're going to damage one, then you can just get another one and be able to not buy an entirely new fan. So that's a pretty cool aspect of that. All right, next up in the number 3 spot. Whew, I think I'm one of the few in the country. This is gold, is what I'm holding in my hand right here is gold. Not really, but these have been very difficult to get. And there's, you know, lots of reasons for it. Part of its popularity and production, and, you know, just all the things going on in the world have affected, you know, many of the things that we buy in our daily lives. This one happens to be the ProCam fuel pump, and this is the 9350, which I believe is the 15 PSI. One of them is a 15 PSI and the other one's a 7.5 PSI. I have both, and I have both in stock. I track them on my website, so if I'm out, I'm out, and it'll let you know. But as of right now, I have these ProCam fuel pumps in stock. I really love the redesign. These used to be like just a cast material. I don't know what they were cast out of, but they were just a regular cast material, and they just didn't have this beautiful look. I mean, I feel like this is a far more elegant, looks a lot more racy with the powder coat on these. So I'm very, very happy with these new ProCam fuel pumps. And they came out just earlier this year. I sold my first batch out, and then now we have more. So good deal. So feel free to you can look at those up on our website. And the price on this one is $187.77. $187.77. And if you're wondering whether you should run a 7.5 or a 15 PSI, what we recommend, we tend to recommend that to run a bypass regulator on your fuel line. It says, oh, I'm not sure what it says. You can comment. Okay, sorry, I had some weird notification. But if you're going to run a bypass regulator that is going to take fuel back to your fuel tank, you're going to want a 15 PSI system so that you've got enough pressure in your fuel line in order to be able to do that. If you're just running like a deadhead regulator, you don't necessarily need that much PSI, so you can go with the 7.5. So that's up to you on what you want to do there. All right, next up in the number 2 spot, I just talked to Heidi at the end of last week, Heidi from LSM Racing Products, and that's what we're opening up right here, is a product from LSM Racing Products. And this one, you know, a lot of times people ask, you know, how often should I change my valve springs? Well, rather than just giving you a number, which I could do, the smart way, and so that you can really detect any wear that's happening, is to have a valve spring pressure tester. And this is going to be an on-the-car tester, so you can you'll just put it on the back of your rocker there and tip it forward. And I purposely get these. You'll see a lot of pressure testers that have a 600-pound gauge. So if you went 0 to 600 in the same range, you can see that each one of those tick marks would represent probably like 5 pounds. In this particular case, I think each tick mark only represents like 2 pounds. So you really get a far more accurate reading with the 160-pound gauge for what we're doing with crate engines, because we don't have any 600-pound springs on our engines. This again is 6061 T6 aluminum, 100% American made. love these guys out at LSM Racing Products. Really love working with them, and they make fantastic products. Always get good reviews from our customers. And when you feel this, you're gonna see how heavy duty it is, and you'll really appreciate the quality of that. But also just that way you can keep from. It's twofold. One is to keep tabs on any changes that are happening with your valve springs, and then that way you can see a problem before it actually becomes a problem. And secondly, if you find out that you don't need to change springs as often, you can save a few dollars here and there for sure. And the LSM pressure tester is $239.99. So before I go to the top spot here, actually I'm just going to go into the top spot and then I'll take any questions and we'll do some drawings here. But in the top spot this week, many of you know that I just recently became a dealer for KSE Racing Products, and one of the things we really liked about KSE is their bypass regulators. So you heard me just talking about that. There have been a lot of questions about fittings. This has been a brand new product for me, and so I'm looking to match this up with the fittings that we sell. Frigola fittings. Love working with Frigola and having all of their fittings, and so I'm going to probably put together maybe a tutorial or a video or something. So if you've got any questions about how to run a bypass regulator, feel free to drop them in. And of course, I'm live talking to people live, but even for people who are going to watch this later, feel free to drop those questions in, because I would really like to make sure that I cover any of those questions on a future video to give a really good tutorial and overview of how to put an entire system together. So the KSE Racing Products bypass regulator, this runs $148.75, and very soon we'll put together a whole kit. I usually have a bypass regulator kit on my website, and we've recently decided we're going to use this bypass regulator instead of what we were using before. So that kit will be updated as soon as I can get new pictures and get one put together and all of the things. Everything's a process, I'm telling you. It's just a process. But really love this and very excited to be adding it to the store. All right, so I'm going to drop in here and see if there's any questions. In the meantime, I've got Alex helping out in the studio today, and he's going to find us some winners. And for anybody who joined us later on, for anyone who's just leaving a comment, we're giving away this Rent a Race Car t-shirt. This one happens to be an extra large, so it is, it's what I have. And again, it's really cool what Gary Spinato is doing with the Rent a Race Car program. And then our second giveaway, for somebody who knows what my sign said last week, oh, there it is going to receive a Z-Max hat. So we'll do that drawing as well. So I'll have those numbers in just a minute. And I'm going to see any questions that you guys have. I see Tom is here, and Chris from Kansas City, Missouri. My goodness, we have all kinds of people from all over the country. Terry, that pump looks huge in your hands. I have really small hands, I'll be honest, I really do. Okay, Ken agrees that a bidet is a parts washer. I didn't even know what I was. Scott, look what you started. Look what you started, Scott. And I see David and Doug and Tony and Michael are here. Oh my goodness. And feel free, again, you guys, drop in any questions. Let's see here. Joe says, what fuel is recommended for a 602 crate? Joe, that is a really, really open question. Much of that depends on the racing series that you're racing with and the rules that you can run. So it's something we talk about quite a bit on the Unsealed show, where I sit down with Steve Hendren from Hendren Racing Engines. Lots of different options here. If you can run methanol, run that. If methanol isn't approved, the next tier would be to go with the oxygenated fuels, or like the VP X85 is an incredibly good ethanol fuel. It's ethanol, but it's a fuel. If you can't do those, then go to the next tier would be your race gases. And yeah, that's where we're at. So gives you like a little bit of a hierarchy right there. Oh my goodness, we have Heidi is here from LSM Racing Products. Heidi, we're just talking about the valve spring pressure tester that every racer needs for. Thank you so much for all of the amazing products you guys put out at LSM. I just want to put that out there. And Justin says, love the podcast. Been listening to all the old ones. Justin, thank you for the reminder. So the Racing Insiders podcast, it's separate from Crate Insider. A lot of times there's a lot of crossover for sure, but that is on Sundays. We go with the Unsealed show live here on Facebook, and then we turn it into a podcast on Monday. And you can find that in your Apple iTunes or your Google Play Store. Otherwise, the quick way to go there is to go to RacingInsidersPodcast.com, and that's where we post those episodes. So that's a really cool thing. Well, thank you so much for listening in, and I do like to add new interviews here and there, and I'll be doing some more of that as we move on with the end of the season. And Tim Morgan's here. Tim is here from Boyd Built. It's from, my goodness, we have like a little manufacturer summit that's going on here on Top 5 Tuesday. So Tim, thank you so much for joining us. I love your products, and Tim and I are going to be working on together on some stuff here coming up too. So I do have winners, and the winner of our Rent a Race Car t-shirt right here is Scott Dunn. So Scott, if you would, please send a private message to Crate Insider with your address, and we'll get that sent out for you tomorrow. And for the hat, the Z-Max hat, which is super cool. It's a flex fit, large, extra large, and this is going to Tony White. So Tony, again, please send your address as a private message to Crate Insider, and we'll get that sent out to you. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. Thank you for being part of the show, and I will look forward to seeing you next Tuesday at 2 o'clock. Have a great week.